you can't get to any other explanation without magic as your X variable. And that's what I think the physicists have yet to realize. Because I wrote a note to Neil deGrasse Tyson when I finished my book, and he didn't write me back. And I basically, I know, I know. He probably saw how many viewers I had, and he was like, So he, but like that was the idea, that you are looking for X to explain this, and I'm telling you that it's magic. Well, I'm not telling you, the universe is telling all of us. But people are free to believe whatever they want to believe. And I don't think everybody has to believe the same thing anyway.
Right. Well, and that kind of, when I have classes that I did to try to teach people how to do this, to kind of have some kind of communication with the spirit realm on their own. And one thing that I came to, but with me and my guides working together, was that a lot of the missing ingredient for a lot of people is faith, is belief. Because when you have that, there's something that opens up. When you're sitting there, when you get a message and you sit there and go, well, is it my imagination, or is that me, or what? When you start to second guess and bring your brain into it too much, it takes it apart. And so having that belief and that openness and just being like, I'm just accepting whatever it is. It doesn't matter if it's my imagination, it doesn't matter. I just accept it. It comes in. That openness is what is created by having that faith or that belief. And so that could be an X factor, that it just opens you up enough that all the other stuff can come in, and then it makes sense. Then you can feel it, or you can see it, you can experience it. But that seems to be, for a lot of people, the missing ingredient, because they want so much to bring their brain into it and tear it apart and look at it and make sure, it's like,
and I do too. I do too.
Yeah. It's human. It's human.
And I do it all the time. It's not like I wake up every day and like I'm having these like, oh, look at how great everything is. I understand everything. No, like, especially this past year, and even feeling distant from the spiritual stuff for parts of the year, going in and out of that. But yeah, you're totally right. The faith part, the faith part is really big. And hopefully, maybe if people have spiritual experiences that they don't fully understand, which again, that applies to me too, you don't have to understand all of it to still feel that it's real and valid and and possible. And then you just keep yourself open to it, and then I think you see more, as you said.
That's it. And exactly. And exactly. I think it just, you've got to be open to it. Otherwise you'll keep finding fault with it. You'll keep finding, you can do that, if you want to. But I always think, what is the harm in just saying, I think this happened. This is, and just saying thank you for that experience. And then when you do that, more tends to come in and more tends to happen. And you do start to experience it more in a realer way. But those first few experiences, you really do have to just kind of let that go and just receive it, basically.
Absolutely. And then that comes back, and then you start to get into things like gratitude and like thanking them for that. Like, thank you for that, because that makes me feel more alive and hopeful and joyful, and then it starts to be a circle. You get that energy. Just keep circling. It's very strong.
I had a little camera, like a security camera, put into this room where I do readings. Yeah, exactly. So because of that, the thing I've been doing with like light work and Dear King Thor's, and after my readings, it's dark up here, so the light's on, and I sit here and just say thank you for helping me today, and for all the spirits came in, and they leave, and you can see them just going all around the room. They go, and it's so like joyful. It's such a happy thing. It's not scary at all. It's just like fun and joyful and like, see you later, see you next time, you know, that's
Yeah.
what it feels like.
I'm so glad you brought that up. When you put up that extra video of yourself, where you put the camera then I think in your living room, and you
Yeah,
were asking them to like give you a high
high five.
five, and then the orbs are just like flying around the room. And I've never experienced that. I would love to experience that. So, you know, but I just thought that was awesome, super awesome and exciting and more confirmation. Yeah.
And it showed, well, it not only showed, the reason I put it up there was because it not only showed, you know, that there's a playful, fun side to this, but
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
that there's a consciousness there. They were listening to me. They were literally going to the corner of the room and flying across right over my hand, you know,
I
so
know.
it was the weirdest thing. And I thought people have to see this because, like you said, if people need that physical proof,
Physical proof. Yeah.
that's what that was, unless I'm a complete fraud and I'm using flashlights, you know, something like that. But apart from that, how do you explain that? How do you explain it? You know,
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, you'll always have some doubters, and that's
of
okay
course,
too.
of
And
course.
I really, I sincerely believe this when I say this too. We're not all meant to believe the same things at the same time. And
Right.
the beauty of free will from, I believe, God is that it's also the freedom to not believe in any of it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's just people are at all different points in time, you know, or in their soul evolution, or however it works. I don't know the whole bigger picture. I definitely know, but that, like, yeah, some people are going to see that video and be like, eh, but like for me, when I saw it, I was like, wow, that's so cool. Yeah, and I've seen
Here
lots
to
of orbs
see.
and lots of the reader videos. You see them all the time with Marianne,
Hmm.
sometimes with Trudy Lee. um who else? There's so many. um
Right.
yeah, you see different things with different people, which is
Right.
cool because there's so many different. I think that's another thing I had thought about before we talked, like that the way that spirit kind of like tries to communicate with us is so varied. It's as varied as the people that we are. And like,
Absolutely.
and the fact that I came from really the other side of the tracks as far as belief goes, and now my beliefs are non-denominational,
Hmm.
you know, some form of God or afterlife. And I really
Right.
like, I really believe in an afterlife now. Like I
Right.
really, it's not, I can't prove it to you exactly, but I really do have this strong joyful feeling that it's like, yeah, like my cat's going to be there, and
Right.
my other cat's going to be there, and my mom's dogs are going to be there, and
Right.
everybody's going to be there. And it's just it all continues. Somehow we are immortal because of this creative, you know, this creative supercomputer intelligence that
Mhm.
needed maybe something to do.
Right, right. Exactly. So now I kind of wanted to kind of I guess wrap up or move our interview like to the last part of it. I really just wanted to talk to you about music because
Sure.
I have a background in music and
Yes.
you're a singer-songwriter. And you guys on Rob's channel, he has not only his book, he reads excerpts from his book and talks a little about spirituality, but also his music and playing guitar and singing. And it's so it's just a nice combination. I think it's really, I'm glad you did it. And I could see
Thank
your
you.
hesitancy in doing it when you did it, but I thought it's so perfectly married for me. It is definitely, but I think there's also I've done this series about the arts and spirit and kind of how spirit is connected to the arts. And um, we were talking before about, and I said, you know, the whole 70s and 80s was me in my room with giant headphones on, listening to music and just dreaming about being able to sing one day and
Yeah.
perform one day and, you know, that kind of stuff. So um, where does, first of all, what part do you think spirit plays in music? Because the arts, I feel like it is like and I've gotten this in readings before, and this is what one reason I say this is they have said in readings, my guides or the person's guides I'm talking to have said in readings that that artists are, it's considered a sacred responsibility to be an artist, because you're taking something from spirit, making it physical and leaving it here.
Right.
And so, and it's, so that's kind of a sacred responsibility, not serious responsibility, but a very important one. It's a very, they think of it as very important work. And here, you know, artists, it's like, you know, well, get a real job or whatever, you know, sometimes you can like this artists and art and stuff. And they're saying, no, it is it is so much of the spirit realm is brought here through art. And so where do you think like spirit fits when you do music, when you just play music, and then when you write, where does it fit for you?
Oh, there's so much to say about it. I'm having like 10,000 thoughts.
That's okay. That's okay. Look, go ahead and just have a tangent. Have a tangent.
I'm all tangents. That's all there is. Okay. Well, first of all, if you want to go back to physics, okay, the musical scale and these things are all vibrational.
Right.
I have a friend who does recordings with me. He's a recording engineer I've worked with for multiple CDs that I've recorded of my own music. His name is Mike Rourke, great guy. And he has as a recording engineer, he has a concept of like harmony in music being exactly similar to like harmony in spirit. Like that when you resonate with another person because you're communicating, that there are actually like vibrations at work that are pleasant to the body because we are ourselves vibrations as energy. And then music itself is vibrational. So like the vibrations of music enter you. And if the music, it brings you joy, then it elevates your mood. So its vibrational qualities can like raise your vibration. And certainly playing music, writing music, listening to music, all of that to me always feels like a lift. It always feels like a lift. And we talked about this a little bit before you started the video, but like when I was more on the atheist agnostic side of the fence, I thought of writing songs. I knew that it was elevated. I knew that it was like almost addictive. Like I got to get back to that feeling of working on another song because this is like compacted joy. What's the point I wanted to make about that? But I thought of it then, early days, as me being in touch with my own subconscious. Right. So it was like delving down deep into myself. And I think there is some of that in there. But now I really believe that there is a collaborative aspect with spirit. Right. I think that you, when you're working from a very pure artistic place, you can tap the great consciousness, the great sort of well of ideas and creativity, and they want to work with you. They want to collaborate with you. So it's yours. It belongs to you. But it's a collaboration with spirit. And because like even like Paul McCartney, this might be in the book, but he said something about like he thought that the song Yesterday was like gifted to him like in a dream. Like, and that when he wrote it, he thought that somebody else, that he had maybe inadvertently copied it from someone else because it came to him so complete. And I believe that probably for certain individuals like him and others, that they're getting a real clean channel. Right. And they have the skills. They had to invest in themselves with the skills and the practice and the background and the learning the music to create the proper vessel to communicate with and receive from spirit. So you have to do some of the work too. But when you get to a certain point, then yeah, you can tap it. And now I absolutely feel that way. And my friend Rose, who lives down the street, I'm really tangenting here. She's psychic too, and she had a near-death experience one time where she said that when she got to the other side, she came back, but she said that she had the perception that the other side was made of music. Like it was all music. Like she could hear and feel it, like
Right.
this orchestral music or something. And I've had a few experiences where I've heard music before I fall asleep. I'll be lying in bed and I hear orchestral music, and I could almost turn over to write it down, but almost as soon as I make the attempt, either like sing it into my phone or try to write any of it down, it starts to disappear.
Right.
And it does seem to have something to do with like sliding from here into the dream state, which a lot of people believe is sort of like a way that spirit can communicate with us too, because we're at ease, we're relaxed. Our brains aren't in the way of the communication, like you said.
That's a big thing.
Yeah. So that's the off the top of my head stuff.
Well, and I think that your friend has something there. Rose?
Yes.
I think Rose has something there, because sometimes when I am connecting with a very high vibrational spirit, because I mostly like talk to guides for some reason. That's just kind of, and I always say the difference for me is when guides speak, it's almost like you're talking to a teacher, like somebody who has a little bit of authority or something, a little bit of, there's a respect there that's just different. When a regular like spirit comes in, it sounds more like you and I, it sounds more conversational.
Right.
And so that's how I can kind of tell the difference. I think they're doing that on purpose. I feel like that's not really like one's above the other. I just think that's the way they're doing it for me, so I know the difference. But sometimes when they're a very high vibrational spirit that comes in, it will almost be melodic. It will feel almost like a melody. And so, and when they're very high, like almost like an angelic, like, but that's what it kind of feels like vibrationally is melodic. I know it gives me chills too, but that is what it is like. So I think she has something there. I think there is a very close connection somehow, like you said, with vibration and with music. And even I think of like the string theory is kind of like musically, that whole thing. It's like,
there's a physicist who even said that. He said that the vibrating strings of the universe are basically musical in nature.
Right. So I think
what is his name? Michu. He's Japanese. He's on like CBS sometimes as a guest.
I know who you mean.
I can't think of his last name. I can't think of it. But there is something there. And then if you want to go biblical, Book of Revelations has the angels with their harps on the sea of glass and fire, repelling, the darkness with not just light, but with music. Like that music could be, it's weird. I don't know if I exactly mean a weapon, but that it could be a defense. So the vibrations of that somehow.
Right.
Yeah, there's something there.
There's something there, right? It really amazing. Does feel like that.
So when do you hear when you communicate with somebody who's coming in like a melody, do you like kind of hear it, or you feel it, or how does
it's almost like a do you know how like the only thing I can kind of compare it to is like a bell when it rings out. And it has that kind of ringing sound. That's what it feels like. It sounds like it's ringing in. It's very powerful, and that it's something else. It feels just different than what you've been dealing with, and it just is a very high vibration.
That's awesome.
And this is one thing I've been told too in readings, that the two things that can lift your vibration immediately are music and laughter. Those two things. It's the funny thing too with laughter. I'll just tell you this quick little thing that I was talking to a guy, and he wanted to bring in his best friend, and he came right in, and I kept hearing him do this, like they would talk. I was just a telephone again. I was just like relaying these messages back to these best friends, and they were, joking around, and I kept hearing this like a popping, like little, like light little pop, pop, pop. And I'd heard it before. And what I realized was it was laughter. It was the spirit laughing. That's what it
Oh,
sounded like. It was like a little,
like
it
air
was so
popping.
funny because so with these best friends, when one would laugh, I'd hear that popping and I'm like, he's laughing. It's like, that's this like spirit
Oh,
laughter. That's what it sounded like to me, was
wow.
like this little puffs of like, I don't know, like a vibration, but just like a
Wow.
very, very light, and saw it was really interesting. So
So cool. That's so
anyway, yeah,
cool.
yeah,
That's
it's
super
such a
cool.
weird thing. So
Yeah, well, that's just it. There's still more, like there's still more to unravel. There probably will always be
of
more to
course,
unravel. It'll be like we're not gonna figure it all out, but it'll just get maybe more and more interesting and more elaborate and beautiful.
right.
That's the hope. But hey, you let the musical cat out of the bag, so now I have the chance to tell your viewers, Kim has been a professional musician all these years, and you didn't even know because she didn't mention it. So there you go.
I think I talked about a little bit with I think with Gary Champion. I think we talked that because he's a musician as well.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I kind of, I think just for a second, but yeah, I don't know why I've kept it like not, and it wasn't really a secret. It just was like,
Yeah,
I just didn't mention it. It doesn't, it's not what we talk about. So, but it is, I mean, like I said, my whole first, and I still get lost in music. It's
oh
one of
yeah,
those things that can instantly transport you, away
absolutely, yeah.
from everything.
Yeah, any kind of art, because my entire life has been art centered since like I was 15. And I also have worked in the arts, and I worked at an art center for 20 years, and I booked
Oh,
events.
wow.
So then I have all these experiences with like professional dance companies, working with
Oh,
professional
wow.
dance companies
Uh-huh.
and music, and like I've booked some really big acts too, and and then I get to perform myself on a smaller scale. So it's all in the same bag, all of that creativity. And like
Mhm.
when you're around creative people who are operating at the high end of an art form, that energy and that excitement is so powerful. Like I hope we can get to a point where, like, kind of like what you were alluding to, like where like the arts start to come a little more forward into our lives too, as we hopefully get back to something resembling what the world was like before that. I guess you can only know it if you experience it, but like every kid should have the opportunity to like try an art form somehow. um,
Yes. Yes.
anything, anything, writing a journal, anything that, yeah, puts you into that other space, that other state of consciousness that is so pleasurable, that creativity. That to me, all of it, all the arts, that's
Mhm.
all echoes of God. The,
Absolutely.
the original
Absolutely.
creation is the universe. That's the first creation. And then we are compelled to create ourselves, like, in imitation or honor of
Mhm.
our own creation. So,
Absolutely. I think it's so true. I remember and hearing one time uh Paul Simon, the song Bridge Over Troubled Water. I remember a Catholic nun hearing that song for the first time said, it's it's as if that song always existed, but nobody ever bothered to write it down. Have you heard that before?
no, but
And
it
I
makes
think that,
perfect sense.
yeah, and I like that and like you just said, that it is one of those things that just um lifts us immediately into somewhere else, something
Yeah,
else. Yeah.
yeah. And if I can humble brag, my my
Absolutely.
my 10th CD just came in the mail yesterday.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so here it is. It's called Back with the Dreamers. Haha, this is my not at all subtle ad. And
Oh, looks great. Looks
thank you.
great.
I This is a local artist in Buffalo named Carrie Aschutz, and this is actually a paper sculpture that she did. She does these art
Oh,
installations,
neat.
like she
Uh-huh.
cuts the shapes out, and I saw photographs of it online, and I'm like, oh. So I reached out to her and said, can I buy some of your artwork to use as part of this package? So that's like more of her.
That's gorgeous. I
Yeah,
love
isn't
the
it
colors.
beautiful? Yeah,
Yeah.
so she cuts the shapes out of, I think it's actually maybe vinyl, and then she
Mhm.
lights them like and then it's an art installation that you go to and you walk through the environment.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
That's
And
great.
as far as songwriting goes, I'm hooked. Like I've just, I just am hooked. I've just been writing songs for so long. It never goes away. It only gets stronger. I can't get it out of my system. I'm
Yeah.
obsessed. And when I'm not, and when I'm not working on something creative, I actually resent like going to my day job.
I
Because
understand that.
I'm like, this is time away from being creative
Yeah.
or being spiritual or being, and my mom's always like, just be thankful you got a job and da da da. And she's totally right. But to me, like anything that's not like maximum excitement is
Right.
is lame. But I'm extreme that way. I'm extreme.
Right. Extreme, extreme. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Rob, for doing this. I really appreciate it. I
Oh
think,
my gosh. Thank you.
yeah, I really hope that everybody goes to check out your channel and, check out Rob's channel, give him love, give him encouragement. I was just saying it before we got on that it takes such courage to put yourself out there, because you really do feel so vulnerable,
Yeah.
putting yourself out there and thinking, is someone going to like me? What are they going to say? And all of those things come out, your little ego comes crawling out, because it is scary. It's scary. And you really do want, especially when you do it with a good place, you're putting yourself out there and just hoping people see it for what you want, what you intend it to be.
Yeah. Yeah. You hope
Yeah.
you hope if there is an audience for you that you get to them, you get to the right ones.
Right.
I don't like,
Absolutely.
I've always said I would love to have like just the perfect sized audience. I just have to admit it, like, because I've not had a lot of success with my music to date. And I feel like it's good. I mean, there's lots of people are good. Not everybody can make it. And like for me, like now, fame is not like that. That was not really ever that interesting anyway.
Mhm.
But I would love to have just this enough audience to just get that energy loop going.
Right.
I don't know what's going to
Right.
happen with it, but I won't stop either way. But
Right.
but it would be great to build that a little. So thank you for the opportunity to be seen by your viewers. That means a lot to me. And like I said, I think your channel is awesome. I think I think it's amazing that this last year that there are so many awesome YouTube psychics now. It was such a lift for me in 2020. People like yourself and I could just go on and on about the others too. It meant so much in such a hard year, and I'm so grateful. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And I don't, I really felt like, I was getting this message over and over again, let them know this guy's not, he's going to go, it's going to be okay. Country will survive. But I had no idea how bad it was going to get. I mean, no idea. But I'm glad that
Yeah.
we got through it together. I really am. And I'm glad we came out the other side. And I think it's going to be, I think it is going to be a huge couple of years, especially coming out of this for the arts, because I just feel, I predicted before that I just feel like people are going to be hungry for it. People are going to be on a different level almost coming out of this than
Right.
they were going in, and they'll be hungry for it. It'll be a time for the arts to kind of expand in a
Yeah.
way I don't think they have
Like
in a long time.
kind of a renaissance of the
Yeah,
arts and what's important. Yeah. Like and
absolutely,
how that's expressed through the arts. That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I remember, when Linda G just kept saying, "Trust me, guys. Trust me, guys. Trust me, guys." My guys are saying he's going, and it was getting to be so hard to believe. And then even on election night, we're watching the early states and they're red, and then they flip overnight, and
Yeah,
everything that everyone said, even getting both of the Georgia seats,
right,
that was so unlikely, and yet
right.
it happened. And people like yourself and the other psychics were saying, we can't guarantee it, but this is what Spirit's saying. This is what's showing. And so,
Mhm.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's pretty awesome too.
Yeah, it was so, yeah, so glad we got through it. It's so glad we're on the other side. But yeah, well, guys, check out Rob's channel. His book is such a fun read. So read his book, and I have it on Kindle, so I know it's on
Oh
Kindle.
yeah.
You can get on Kindle.
Yep.
So
Yep. On
so yeah,
Amazon.
so do that. And thanks, intuitive viewers. We'll talk to you again. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Kim.
Bye, guys.
Bye.